Donald Trump says jump. The MAGA extremists say how high. Donald Trump asked them to impeach Joe Biden, and here we are. They broke the law trying to stop Joe Biden from becoming president. They broke the law trying to violently overturn the election to prevent Joe Biden from taking office. And now they are waging this extreme political stunt by abusing and weaponizing the impeachment process. They tried to overturn the election on January 6th, and now they want to finish the job. And today, Democrats on the Rules Committee will make a simple case to the American people. First, that Joe Biden is a man of decency and integrity who respects the law, and this impeachment charade is an extreme political stunt designed to help Donald Trump win. Second, that every absurd Republican allegation against Joe Biden has been debunked. Third, that despite this fraudulent process, Republicans have received extraordinary cooperation from the White House. And fourth, that Republicans are doing this because they are focused on the wrong priorities and want to distract from their total failure to get anything done. And when this is all over, I am confident that the American people will overwhelmingly agree that this whole impeachment stunt is a national disgrace.
That was Democratic Congressman McGovern at one of the MAGA Republican hearings on the impeachment inquiry that they are launching into President Joe Biden based on literally zero evidence and based on just made-up crap. I'm Ben Meiselas. This is the MeidasTouch Network. Want to show you here Democratic Congresswoman Scanlon talk about how the three chairs of the committees conducting this sham impeachment inquiry just go on Fox every day and just literally lie about the evidence. Watch these Democratic Congress members go. Some great messaging here. The facts are on their side. Play the clip.
Is open and transparent. I've already had personal experience with this process when David Weiss, special counsel, came in, sat for 7 hours of interviews. He offered to testify in public. That offer was rejected. And then we saw members of the judiciary come out and mischaracterize what, in fact, he had said in that interview. Mr. Reschenthaler is absolutely right. The three chairs of the committees conducting this sham impeachment inquiry have been all over the news, on Fox, on Newsmax, every night, mischaracterizing what they've found, mischaracterizing what witnesses have said. And that's why it's important that if this is to go forward, the American people be able to judge for themselves. There's a pattern and practice at this point of the Republican majority hiding what's going on, only cherry-picking the evidence that they want to move forward, disregarding when it's contradicted, even by their own witnesses. And I think it's really important that we adopt the gentlewoman from New Mexico's amendment.
Compare this with MAGA Republican Congress member Reschenthaler. Take a look at this as he says the transparency argument is laughable. And then Democratic Congress member McGovern's like, okay, so when are you going to release the transcripts? And then the Republican goes, what are you talking about? Play this clip.
Again, so the transparency argument is laughable in the face of the 116th and in the actions of just the Oversight Committee. With that, I yield back.
Is there additional discussion on the amendment?
Yeah, Mr. Speaker, we can talk about memos. I got a memo here that disproves, basically refutes everything the gentleman just said. But I have a question. When are the transcripts going to be made public and released on the interviews? Does the gentleman know?
That I don't know.
Yeah. Okay. Well, maybe before the end of the hearing he could find out, because again, you talk about open and transparency. That's what we're talking about. I yield back.
Here, by the way, is MAGA Republican Congress member Massey saying that it is Trump's fault and it is McConnell's fault and it is the Republicans' fault that there's been $2 trillion added under the CARES Act. Oh, wait, I'm not supposed to say that. I'm not supposed to say that. Watch Republican Massey just step right on into it. Play the clip.
Consequences. Well, included in this statistic is the CARES Act, which has been, that was the $2 trillion that Donald Trump, Mitch McConnell, and Nancy Pelosi passed.
And almost your entire conference voted for, yes.
Yes, and I was against it because I said it would cause inflation. I said it would cause inflation and shortages and a lot of long-term maleffects to the economy, and here we are. So again, I would just,
And Congressmember Massey, you may want to know that there was an additional $6 trillion added to the debt by Donald Trump based on his tax handouts to the billionaires and decamillionaires that were not paid for, and the fact that he printed money more than any other president before him. So, yeah, that's where inflation comes from. You are just so close. Oh, by the way, here, Democratic Congressmember Jared Moskowitz had former MAGA Republican Congressmember George Santos say this on Cameo. While all that was going on, Democratic Congressmember Moskowitz was having Santos say this to troll the Republicans. Play the clip.
Hey James, just wanted to stop by to congratulate you for being the largest landowner in your county with your brother through all your LLCs. I think it's amazing that you share a passion for Smurfs and the Pink Panther. And look, congrats on your promotion. I hope that the struggles of this year's don't transfer to next year and that you slay and kill it. I want to wish you, James, a very happy Hanukkah. Bye.
Sleep is the foundation of our mental and physical health. When you are sleeping well, you can perform at your best mentally and physically. Proper sleep can also increase focus, boost energy, and improve your mood. Introducing Beam's Dream Powder, a science-packed healthy hot cocoa for sleep. If you know me, you know that Dream has been a game changer for my sleep. Sometimes I find myself up at night in bed with my thoughts and uneasiness. Well, that was the case until I started drinking Beam's Dream Powder. Prior to Beam's Dream Powder, the poor sleep and late night staying up really affected my mood and energy, but not anymore. And today, our listeners get a special discount on Beam's Dream Powder, their science-backed healthy hot cocoa for sleep with no added sugar. Now available in delicious flavors like chocolate peanut butter, cinnamon cocoa, and sea salt caramel with only 15 calories and 0 grams of sugar. Better sleep has never tasted better. Other sleep aids can cause next day grogginess, but Dream contains a powerful all-natural blend of reishi, magnesium, L-theanine, melatonin, and nano-CBD to help you fall asleep, stay asleep, and wake up refreshed. The numbers don't lie. In a clinical study, 93% of participants reported Dream helped them get better sleep. Beam Dream is easy to add to your nighttime routine. Just mix Dream into hot water or milk froth and enjoy before bed. Find out why Forbes and New York Times are all talking about Beam and why it's trusted by the world's top athletes and business professionals. If you want to try Beam's best-selling Dream Powder, get up to 40% off for a limited time when you go to shopbeam.com/Meidas and use code Meidas at checkout. That's shopbeam.com/MEIDAS and use the code Meidas for up to 40% off. And now, back to the show. Back to the hearing. Here is Democratic Congressman Neguse asking the MAGA Republicans, like, what's the crime? What are you talking about? What's the constitutional crime that you're saying is a high crime and misdemeanor? Play the clip.
To the core, I think the question I'm asking you is,
Okay, go ahead.
what is the specific constitutional crime that you're investigating?
Well, we're having an inquiry, so we can do an investigation and control
Okay.
the production of witnesses.
And what is the crime you're investigating?
And documents. High crimes, misdemeanors, and bribery.
What
It's in
high
the
crime and
Constitution.
misdemeanor are you investigating?
Look, I will, once I get time, I will explain what we're looking at, and I will make the equivalency
No, I'm just
of
asking you for
the last impeachment.
Okay, so what I'm trying to say, Mr. Reschenthaler, and again, I say this because I served as a prosecutor during the last impeachment of former President Trump. There was a specific high crime that he was impeached for on a bipartisan basis. 13 Republicans agreed. In 2019, when President Trump was impeached, there were 2 very specific offenses that he was impeached for. And I can't get an answer I don't think members of the Oversight Committee could get an answer, or the Ways and Means Committee, or the Judiciary Committee. I don't think there is an answer. There's not, and of course it's unsurprising because according to even Fox News correspondents, House Republicans have been unable to make any kind of connection to a constitutional high crime and misdemeanor and President Biden. So I would say this, to make the argument that there is some similarity between, and I don't know if this is what you're suggesting, I hope it's not, between the various facts that you've focused and zeroed in on with respect to President Biden and President Trump's conduct on January 6th. It's very clear to me the American people would reject that argument outright. And by the way,
And here, as MAGA Republican Congressman Norman is trying to attack President Biden and say, oh, he's cognitively gone, Democratic Congresswoman Scanlon's like, have you met President Biden? Like, you're just down the Fox rabbit hole, aren't you? Play this clip.
That's on your side. You've got a president, Joe Biden, who's cognitively gone. Why don't you get with his handlers, whoever it is? Now, you can argue if you think he's not cognitively gone, I would wager a good bit of money. You give him with 5 doctors, they would tell you the man's not there. Now, that's what America's concerned about. That's what America wants.
Would the
And
gentleman yield?
Let me just finish. Those are the concerns, and I get the theater to try to divert this to the things you mentioned about the hearings and how you think. The real concerns are affecting the pocketbooks of Americans, and you're going to see it. I hear it. I'm in that world of construction workers. And they're sick and tired of what this administration is doing to sell this country out. And they're going to they will let their feelings known. Now, you can disagree with that, but, and I will yield just a few minutes. I want to get to Guy, but I yield back, yield to you.
I do disagree vehemently with what you've said. Have you spent any time with Mr. Biden, with the president?
Good God,
Did you go?
no. Lord.
Good God, no. No, you've been watching a little too much Fox News.
Not Fox. Watch him on Fox, if he'll go there. Watch him on the few, how many press conferences does he have? What can he get off teleprompter and read? You tell me.
I have spent hours with the president without teleprompters, and the level of his conversation is way above this committee right now.
Mr. Scanlon, he didn't know.
By the way, speaking of President Biden, here President Biden is talking about how when Russia is praising you, MAGA Republicans, that's not a good thing. Play the clip.
You know, we need to fully appreciate how it's wrong, how this is being viewed around the world and being used by Russia. Russian loyalists in Moscow celebrated when Republicans voted to block Ukraine aid last week. The host of a Kremlin-run show literally said, and I quote, "Well done, Republicans. That's good for us," end of quote. Let me say that again. This host of a Kremlin-run show said, "Well done, Republicans. That's good for us." That's a Russian speaking. If you're being celebrated by Russian propagandists, it might be time to rethink what you're doing. History will judge harshly those who turn their back on freedom's cause.
Here is MAGA Republican Congressmember Andy Harris whining about a woke military. Play the clip.
To address the House for 1 minute to revise and extend my remarks.
Without objection, the gentleman is recognized for 1 minute.
You know, one of the greatest threats to our security, national security, is a woke military. And nothing exemplifies a woke military as much as the National Defense Authorization Act that's going to come before this body at a conference report that allows transgender surgery to continue to be funded in the U.S. military. Now, I can guarantee you that Russia and China aren't using their military dollars to pay for transgender surgery, but here in the United States, we are, we will, and if this House and the Senate pass the conference report, that will be the official U.S. policy. Madam Speaker, that's not defense of the nation. That's a woke military that endangers our nation's security. I yield back.
And here is Republican Congressmember Lawler complaining that based on a new ruling by the highest court in New York, seems that Republicans in the state of New York are in trouble. It's so interesting that these MAGA Republicans are all about gerrymandering in their district, but as soon as there's a ruling they don't like, they whine right away. Play this clip.
Last year, New York Democrats tried to corrupt our redistricting process by gerrymandering New York's maps to favor 22 Democrats and 4 Republicans. They were summarily thrown out in court, with the court ruling that they not only violated the state constitution, they violated the process, and they gerrymandered the maps. A special master appointed by the court drew a fair set of maps that resulted in 15 Democrats and 11 Republicans being elected. However, that didn't serve the purpose of New York Democrats. So they filed another lawsuit. Today, the Court of Appeals, in a shameful episode, was stacked and made a decision to redraw New York's congressional maps for the sole purpose of trying to favor New York Democrats. It's pathetic, it's shameful, and it serves only one person, the leader of the Democratic Conference. He should be embarrassed. I yield.
By the way, then you had MAGA Mike Johnson, Speaker of the House, go on Fox. Brett Baer says, okay, so tell me, what's a priority in Congress for the Republicans? Like, what do you want to accomplish? And rather than say an issue like work on the economy or focus on jobs or infrastructure or whatever their issue is, what does MAGA Mike say? Oh, it's to grow the majority. Play this clip.
The top priority. You're heading into an election year. You've got a very slim majority, and it's actually getting narrower as you lose a couple of members like George Santos and others. What's the top priority?
Well, the top priority is to keep and grow our majority. Why? So we can save the country from the policies that are destroying it. The Biden administration, in our view, has been an abject failure for the people. The Democrat majority in the Senate has been accomplices in that, and we've got to turn this thing around. I'm very bullish on the future, Brett. I think we're going to have a great election cycle for conservatives and Republicans because we're offering an alternative to all this. We have answers to all these great challenges, and our candidates and our incumbents are excited to get out there on the campaign trail and talk about that because I think it resonates with them.
And here's Brett Baer pointing out how hypocritical MAGA Mike is. Play this clip.
Exactly 4 years ago, this is Representative Mike Johnson.
The founders of this country warned against a single-party impeachment for good reason. They feared that it would bitterly and perhaps irreparably divide our nation. As the next election in 2020 is drawing so close now and their candidates for president are so terribly weak, they obviously met somewhere at liberal high command about 75 days ago and convinced Nancy Pelosi they had to pull the trigger. I hope and pray that future Congresses can and will exercise greater restraint.
So the moderates in your caucus would say, why not exercise greater restraint now?
Well, we've shown great restraint. I mean, there are a lot of people who are frustrated that this hasn't moved faster, but there's a big distinction. I stand by every word I said in that video. There's a big distinction between what's happening now and what the Democrats do. Those are rushed, sham impeachments. They did it quickly. They did not follow any of the procedures that I just described. We have 3 committees investigating this and following the truth where they lead and they have no option in doing anything else. It's Ways and Means, Judiciary, and Oversight, and they've uncovered some alarming facts about the Biden family and their dealings.
And finally, MAGA Mike says, if we can govern well and we can demonstrate that, we're going to keep on growing this thing. Well, MAGA Mike, y'all have shown that the MAGA Republicans are a complete and utter failure, taking away Americans' freedoms, trampling on our rights, doing nothing, and engaged in deranged and unhinged behavior. Play the clip.
All the grassroots is excited. We have to deliver on that. If we can demonstrate that we can govern well, and I think we can, I think we're going to grow this majority. I think we're going to win the Senate and the White House.
Folks, another day on Capitol Hill. I'm Ben Meiselas. This is the MeidasTouch Network. Hit subscribe. We're on our way to 2 million subscribers thanks to your support. Check us out at patreon.com/MeidasTouch and have a great day.
Thanks so much for watching. We're only a few subscribers short of 2 million subs. Please subscribe right now to the MeidasTouch YouTube channel for free and help us grow this unapologetically pro-democracy network.